chiming in. Welcome everybody to the amazing race, the awesome alternative way to play Duelyst. I'm your host Zooch. Joined with me is my dog Chai and Skarzig, who many folks know as a popular caster for Duelyst tournaments. Say hello again, I guess.
What's up, everybody? Sorry about that, mute. We're getting on it, and thank you, Magister. My audio's a little low. Let me see if I can turn up my volume.
I'll turn it up for you.
Thank you.
Let us know if this is needs to be softer or softer or louder. I don't know. For those who don't know what's going on, today we're doing something a little bit different in Duelyst. Today we're doing what's called the Amazyng race. The Amazyng race is an alternate way to play, and for those who don't know what's going on, you can type in !race to read the rules on the official Battlefy page. Short recap is that instead of bludgeoning your opponent to death with your minions in general, instead we're trying to resolve our differences a little more peacefully. The winner is whoever general touches the four corners of the map first. There are some alternative rules thrown in there, like you can win if you kill your opponent, but you just can't attack them with your minions. And I encourage people to read up more on them in the official Battle rules. Amazing grace, someone says. Skarzig, what did I miss? What do you think that the average dueler should know about this format?
What I like about this format is that right away you start thinking of, oh man, mist walking gets played more, and even the factions that you think are going to be really strong still, get a run for their money from the factions you don't think would see play. Every faction has a viable strategy in this format, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody's going to try to bring today.
Oh yeah, so I will give a little bit of a spoiler. So everyone sends me their deck lists. Not a whole lot of Songhai in this tournament, surprisingly enough. Most people think that that's one of the strongest factions because obviously you have Mistwalking. It's sort of the board manipulation faction. But I've seen a lot of Lionar, a lot of Vitruvian, a lot of Vanar, and a lot of Magmar and Abyssian. The latter two factions are primarily the burn faction. As I stated, you can't attack your opponent, but you can burn them out with cards like Entropic Gaze or Darkseed. So there's this alternate strategy at play here. Yeah. Anyway, what if you were playing in this tournament, Skarzig? What would you be playing?
I would probably bring Vanar, truth be told, just because that's what I'm most comfortable with. But that is really surprising to hear that not a lot of people are bringing Songhai, because I thought that for sure that would be one of the strongest. But I think that Vanar has a really solid mix of tools and options to really compete here, because that faction is based on utility, and so all of those spells that you don't normally see but still offer a lot of funky niche uses actually comes up a lot more in this format. Turn one Mesmerize, definitely one of the best moves in the Amazyng race format.
Well, I don't want to spoil too much of the tech that people might bring, but I do want to say there are a lot of very cool cards that were just introduced for the race format for in Rise of the Bloodborne. My favorite so far has been Incinera. So for those who don't know what Incinera does, it lets your general move 2 extra spaces a turn, which combined with something like Time Maelstrom to the other in like one move. God. It's awesome. So I think a fair amount of Vitruvian players have opted for that. Why don't we jump into our first match? So our first match is going to be Traestaree against Janonator. Both of these players got paired up in the first round, unfortunately, but they're both actually very good with the format. Traestaree's, I know, have been practicing a lot. Janonator actually won the last event. So why don't we jump in and see what they're doing?
Nice.
We're looking at... oh, there we go. Perfect. We're looking at mulligan decisions right now.
Oh, we see the Avalanche. That's always beautiful for this matchup. Now, Janonator, he's the champion of the former Amazyng race. He was running Abyssian the last time. And for those of you who don't know, Spectral Revenant is one of the disallowed cards for the Amazyng race. Once it comes down and you start burning your opponent with it, start really getting those bodies out of the way, since not so much removal is packed in the Amazyng race, Spectral Revenant is a bit too hard to deal with. It was getting a bit too much value. So Janonator now opting to go for the Vanar over the Abyssian. And we see the Beam Shock.
Not only the Beam Shock, we see Alcuin and Beam Shock. And then another Alcuin and Beam Shock. This is great. This is what the Amazyng race is about.
I love how it's so silly and fun, but so disrespectful at the same time.
Yeah. A total of 2 spaces has been moved by both generals combined. Oh my gosh, and we're going to get to see another one. This is great. This is insane.
So right now they're trading that same Beam Shock back and forth through one another. Also in Lore Masters, very, very powerful because, again, you're taking your opponent's options and making it work for you. And they aren't going anywhere.
This is actually the best. This is the best start I've ever seen in any of the Amazyng Race games. Yeah, so someone in chat said, I was expecting Argion for the Lionar General. We had been playing a lot, so I'd played Traestaree with his Zeron. It's very strong when you're like just healing all your provoke minions. You know, your Ironcliff Golems, Ironcliff Guardians, aren't being killed. No.
Yeah, so that's just a great way to put your opponent in the corner. And I mean, there's not too much synergy there, but maybe who knows if we'll get like a cheeky light chaser, right? That just gets so big that you just can't get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Again, with this format, players aren't running too much removal, and that's where these really large bodies are coming in. Like, usually you're trying to mess with your opponent's movement and get things like your Silhouette Tracer going. Factions with a lot of card draw, like Songhai, are just going to turbo right through their deck to get to all those really strong movement options. And Gravity Well's coming down to keep Traestaree away from that corner.
Not only Gravity Well, but it looks like he might actually icy him as well, which would not only block the corner even better, but it would stun Zeron from getting to the corner. So far, we've got Traestaree and Janonator only having one corner apiece. This
is looking to be a control matchup in the Amazyng Race here. One interesting thing, though, is that he's playing the Icy here, right, to stun Zeron and make it so that she can't kill the Gravity Wells. Getting some additional value by putting your minion in the corner is very important because you have to move your general out of the corner if you can, if it's possible. But your minions can just stay there and block. But the Icy, you know, it's going to just kill itself in a couple turns.
Yeah. Ooh.
But
not to interrupt you, Skarzig, but a great play here from Traestaree. He's Ironcliff guarding and sunblooming away all of the Gravity Wells, so he's going to be able to move into that corner pretty soon.
Yeah, so that sunbloom on those Gravity Wells actually mitigates the possible lost value of the Icy, right, dying too soon. Because now the Icy will suicide, and then he still needs to take out that final Gravity Well before he can even take that corner.
Yeah. Well, one person in chat says, did anyone try Envy Bear in this format? I don't want to spoil anything, and in fact, I haven't seen any of the matches, so I don't know if it comes up. But at least one player has Envy Bear in their list, so it's a possibility that we could see some players bouncing around the board.
And that was, I don't think that in the last Amazyng Race anybody had brought Envy Bear, and we were speculating that that would be pretty strong.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that you don't really think about, but yeah, if your opponent's getting close to the opposite side of the board, you could very well just like plug up the 2 corners and punch them back to the other side. So, yeah.
And if you get sent exactly all the way to the other side of the board, you know, your opponent just sets you back like 4 turns.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we're ignoring what's going on right now. It looks like Janonator has dealt with the Ironcliff in the corner by Hearth-Sistering it away. It looks like he's saving his 2 Silhouette Tracers for like a real big burst at the end. Meanwhile, Traestaree looks like he's got Scintilla and Beam Shock and Repulsor Beast in his hand. So, ooh, and he just played an Elix. That's going to let him kill the Hearth-Sister and Beam Shock, a Janonator. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, this is fantastic because now, he's got the Elix in position to move back into that corner. With these large bodies, Vanar just can really only move them out of the way. And being able to keep him from getting that corner is absolutely huge here. Um,
I will say this: he didn't. Traestaree does not have the corner blocked, so he's going to be able to tracer into it. And look at his hand; it's 3 tracers. That is incredible. Like he's going to be able to just jump all across the board. Presumably, he's going to try to get this corner now while he still can, and then next turn he's going to be able to double tracer, essentially to the left hand corner. So he might have a difficult time getting that final push, but Janonator's got a pretty stacked hand right now.
Yeah, really smart preserving these silhouette tracers because you're able to use them to hopscotch over provokes and anything that Lionar is trying to body block you with. We have seen some very smart players space their minions, right? That causes you to silhouette trace. Either you aren't able to at all, or you can only go you can only move a very limited amount of spaces, and you aren't getting maximum value out of the silhouette tracer. So we might see Traestaree recognize this threat and stack his units in such a way that the silhouette tracer won't be able to get him out of the corner.
Oh, exactly. It's just like this. So Janonator, we had a good play here by Traestaree, blocking off a potential ability to silhouette tracer out of this corner here from Janonator. I don't know what he's going to be able to do. I mean, he could Hailstone Prison this Swamp Entangler, but that seems like a really mediocre use of that card.
Yeah, I think that maybe you Hailstone the Elix, allowing you to step forward and then Tracer over the Swamp Entangler and the Aswin Loremaster, and then maybe it's a little bit easier for you to beat through, the 3 HP rather than the 7.
Yeah. He's going for he's going for it. I like this play because he's getting past all these provoke units. Like I don't think that Elix is going to be able to come get him. And it doesn't look like Ironcliff Guardian is as well, because I think Ironcliff Guardian's going to be able to be killed in just a couple of hits. Oh no, he will be able to be blocked by Elix. So
yeah, because the Elix has the extra movement.
Yeah.
Fortunately, with the 3rd Silhouette Tracer, he'll be able to get back into that far corner. But you really can't get away from Elix when she's on the board. That is for sure.
Yeah. I gotta say, if I were Traestaree right now, I'd be a little annoyed because, I'd be a little annoyed that my opponent has 3 Silhouette Tracers. So that I don't think he has them right the second. Look at that Ironcliff. Like, I want to make sure you don't go anywhere. All right, Traestaree doing a nice job of blocking off Janonator, setting up another set of provokes there in the corner, and using Zoran's Afterglow effect to help keep Elix alive. Probably the most important minion on the board right now.
And if he can keep up this delay, Traestaree's still benefiting from that extra movement of Elix Stormblade. That's going to cut like maybe 1 or 2 turns of movement off of the possibly taking these last corners.
Yeah. I like so Hailstone Prison, by the way, folks, is a great way for a player to reset their silhouette tracers. So you can almost think about it as Vanar getting to play twice as many silhouette tracers as the normal player.
Yep, so here we go. Silhouette Tracer, he's playing it in the top row here to further, block Traestaree. So it's really smart. You don't need your minions to be next to you at all in this format. If you do have something big like an Elix, they can help clear the way, but he's just going to get into that final corner. And actually opting to have the Silhouette Tracer nearby him after all to help clear out these Swamp Entanglers.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a solid play. But, Traestaree moving them away.
This is so dastardly. Because the Elix is going to be able to one-shot this thing. Oh, actually going for the Martyrdom, keeping the Elix even healthier.
Yeah.
Wow. I really like that smart include of the Martyrdom, because that's one of the best ways to get rid of these large bodies when there's really going to be no other option.
Interesting. He throws the Silhouette Tracer over in the random corner, and then uses Planner Scout to provide even more of a block for Janonator. So one thing I will note here, and something we haven't really talked about much, is one of the alternate ways to win the Amazyng race, which is if your opponent dies, well, you win. The obvious caveat is you can't kill your opponent. You can't attack your opponent with your minions or your general, but you can use things like Phase Bloodborne Spell, or Avalanche. So even though Janonator might be dead in terms of getting to that final corner, there's still a very real possibility that he could win via damage in this game.
Right, because Avalanche is going to get that burst of 4 damage, and it stuns. He can keep Traestaree locked up for a pretty long time, and the Mesmerize to follow up is going to offset, some of that value he's been getting from the Elix move speed movement.
Yeah, I like Phil Gallows in the chat mentioning that Traestaree is wisely playing around the 4th Tracer with that Planner Scout placement.
Right, he's done such a great job, really forcing Janonator to fight for these final corners by stacking these units that he just can't get around.
Ooh.
So many provokes. Swamp Entangler, a card that you never see, actually putting in massive work here.
Yeah, Swamp Entangler has been really solid. Just the fact that it's so cheap is incredible. Mm-hmm. We see one of the most important spells to come out of Rise of the Bloodborne for the Amazyng race, Trinity Oath, being played by Janonator. So Trinity Oath is great because of the sort of ubiquitous burn strategy that has become a little bit prevalent. It lets you draw cards and give you a little bit of the buff. So we'll see here if it's going to work.
Yeah, we've seen Trinity Oath really do some amazing things. It's so good at just keeping you in the game. These burn lists, they're very good at burning you to 25 HP, but if you increase that to 30, 35 with all the healing that you might have in your deck, it allows you to survive just those couple extra turns that it might need for you to take the game back. Another Avalanche coming down. He's not going anywhere. Traestaree, hopefully packing some healing in this deck that he could maybe use to weather this storm.
So I do like the fact that Traestaree has blocked Janonator in a way that hasn't allowed Janonator to cast a creature. I think that might change here. Oh no, he's healing it. So he's healing the Swamp Entangler. So none of these creatures are playable by Traestaree or by Janonator. I wish he had kept his Mesmerize now. He could have mesmerized something out of the way and plopped a creature down.
Right. Maybe even an Embla at this point would have been enough to really mess up Traestaree's plan while he fights through all of this bulk.
Yeah.
The key thing here, too, is Swamp Entangler with 3 HP is going to take the hit from the general, and then, now that they're at 9 mana, Traestaree can keep healing that thing over and over and over again. It's going to come down to whether or not Janonator has enough damage, burn damage, in his deck.
I think that's the nail in the coffin. That Scintilla means that unless he can deal with it and then also deal enough damage, I'm pretty sure Janonator is just dead to rights here. Which is funny because he drew the 3rd Avalanche as well. So, like, if that Scintilla hadn't come down, Traestaree would be at 1 HP right here. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! He got Pato.
Let's go. Okay, now here's the thing. He has to use it to get these minions off of him because right now he's basically stuck in an infinite loop where he can't get past this Swamp Entangler. And so when he drops this down and maybe finally gets out of this corner where he can begin summoning minions again because he can combo Pato and Icy, he still needs to get through these remaining 2 Ironcliff Guardians.
Wow, this is great. That's probably one of the few cards that he could actually have gotten here that would have allowed him to get out of the situation. So I think he has to put it right here. Maybe he's just going for the Avalanche win, but like I don't think you can win while Scintilla's on the board with damage.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough because the Pato because of all the bodies that Traestaree has on the board, if he drops it, it'll get cleaned up anyway. And if he doesn't get good RNG on where they're sent, maybe they just get to move right back into formation.
Looks like
trying to go for this burn win, but again, the Scintilla is giving him 3 HP every turn.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to martyrdom his own creature just to gain some life. He's going to gain 10 life. It's got to be game over at this point. Oh, wow.
My goodness. Where do you go from here? That's one Ironcliff Guardian out of the way. I don't think that he's expecting the Pado, right? Pado has airdrop, so you just place it wherever you want.
All right, so I think you Chromatic Cold the Planner Scout, and then you Pado where the Planner Scout is. Oh, no, you got to get rid of this Elix, too. Huh. What about Chromatic Colding the Swamp Entangler, killing it, and then Padoing where the Swamp Entangler is?
Yes, I think that's going to be the
No.
Oh, he's going for the disrespect. He's saying, no, get away from that corner. He moved 2 spaces back. Pado essentially setting Traestaree back another turn. At this point, I think what he's going to do is Chromatic Cold the Scintilla. And maybe try to hope for some more burn to come down. Fortunately, the Pado being played so far away from Traestaree's forces is going to allow him to use it as a summoning beacon.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I honestly don't know what you do here if you're Janonator. This has been a really interesting game, by the way. I guess you try to... Yeah. So I think he's trying to tempt Traestaree into coming down here, which will mean this Embla is going to be pretty solid. He's going to get a full Embla if Traestaree comes down this way.
What's he got here for the Pado? Another Martyrdom. Wow, getting that really big body out of the way.
Yeah.
But he's fallen for it. He's going to walk 2 down.
Well, he can't play this Embla anymore. He doesn't have a spot to play it. Right?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, with the Pado out of the way, he's not going to be able to summon anything to stop this. And the Beam Shock.
The Beam Shock.
Oh, man. And now, one important thing, too, is that because Traestaree had been Padoed out of the corner, you can't re-enter a corner that you've already touched, correct?
That's correct.
So he does have to take this slightly longer route around the Pado.
Well, the Pado's dead, so I think
it's the same amount of movement either way, but he needs to go this way rather than hugging the wall. If he were indeed fearing Embla, right, you'd want to hug the wall a little bit to deny some walls.
That's right. Well, okay, it looks like Janonator is gonna lose right here. Yeah, I don't know. He said a well play, but I think he's gonna end up dying here. All right, he's bouncing the Elix, but I don't think it matters.
Right, because the minions can still do battle normally. The Icy is just gonna hit the Scintilla and die. Well,
I think it's a moot point because Traestaree is going to play the Elix and just get the final corner right here, I think.
Right, because the movement stacks, and you just get to move 3 spaces, which has been absolutely huge.
There we go.
Oh, no. There I am.
Gotcha. That was a great first game.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really, really good first game. Like, I thought it could have been anyone at any point in time, and it sort of went back and forth between, Janonator's got 3 tracers, he's going to win, to, Janonator's going to win via damage, to, never mind, he's just locked out of the game at this point in time. All right, so why don't we go to game number 2? I'm going to set this up. I'm going to let my dog out, and then I'm going to say goodbye to our friend. So give me 2 seconds, and let's